the stigma that comes with being openly gay, openly lesbian. Ganun pa rin ba yung they look at you differently, they treat you differently?
May discrimination ba kayo among yourselves? Not really to deviate, but politician, well known, they say he's gay.
It can be seen as a moment of dishonesty. And di ba, parang honesty and trust
Yeah.
is a very integral part of leadership. It's a very integral part of your role as a public servant.
Magandang araw, mga kaprangkahan. Once again, another segment. Tingin ko magandang magiging talakayan natin ngayon, no? Meron tayong magandang guest, importanteng guest. It's gonna be a nice topic. It's good, kasama ko ng aking partner Ronald. Nawala ka the last time.
Yes, I was medyo na-busy lang sa work.
Oh. Anyway, so would you want to, para at least we could take up a lot of ground, would you want to introduce our...
No, the family name.
Yeah. Anyway, our special guest and resource person is a professor at the Tarlac Agricultural University. She is an advisor on, tama ba ito, ma'am, on the LGBTQ. You're part, she is, how do I call you? Professor Erika Prado, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can just call me Erika. It's fine.
Erika. Just Erika, not Miss Erika or anything like that?
Yeah, just first name.
Just Erika. Okay. What's a little intro, ma'am, and about your group?
Okay. Ako po si Erika Prado. I teach in Tarlac Agricultural University. But I'm also the advisor of the student LGBTQ organization of the university, the first LGBTQI student organization in the university. But I'm also the chief of student inclusion in the university. So I create activities and programs particular to minorities, and that includes mga gender minorities, mga LGBTQI youth primarily. Pero I'm from Tarlac. I grew up in Kamiling, and I also am part of the LGBTQ community. I think that's it.
You, what's the name of your group?
It's TAU BULALAYAW. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Pardon? TAU
TAU BULALAYAW.
Bulalayaw.
Bulalayaw is Ilocano for rainbow. So we wanted
Okay.
something with local color.
Yes. Tapos, how many members do you have right now?
It's changing every academic year, no? But it's around 40 to 60. Pero sometimes, kasi when we have activities, we invite everyone because it's the kind of LGBT organization na even allies can join. So we invite them. So sometimes may mga unofficial na sumasama, but they haven't completed the paperwork, but we bring them along. So if you count them, that's around 100 and more than.
You mentioned even allies. Bakit
Yes.
naman? What do you
Yes.
mean by that? I mean, may discrimination ba kayo among yourselves?
Kasi
The
some,
LGBT community?
I mean, even allies, kasi sometimes like there are organizations very particular lang. They want representation. They want more voice for the LGBT. Kasi straight individuals, di ba, heterosexual individuals have been the predominant voice in society. So they want yung unique LGBT. So sometimes very strict in not including the allies. But for us, yung tinatanong ko rin naman yung mga officers and yung mga members ng organization, they want to include the allies because they support the idea of LGBTQ, equal rights for all genders. So may ganong particulars pag nag-organize sa mga LGBT.
Partner.
In organizing sa the TAU, it's because of, for what reason?
It's, can I tell you the history? Do we have
Yeah,
Please,
sure.
please, feel free.
Yeah, kasi the moment I got yung position of inclusion officer, so I'm supposed to be in charge of activities programs for minorities. it was in the middle of the pandemic. So I can only service individuals who are in the university, which is not much kasi closed during yung quarantine. Pero the moment the university started opening its doors, mostly student leaders were there. And a lot of the student leaders were LGBT. So I asked him what activities you want to do, and then we organized this gender support session. So it was an opportunity to share their experience, their challenges, their struggles, but at the same time, yung idea nila of unique leadership because of their diverse identity. So from then, yung mga student leaders na yun approached me and asked me, can we have an organized or organization specific for LGBT?
Earlier, I did a little reading, very brief, on the SOGI bill. No? Hindi pa siya passed, I understand.
Yes.
You're in favor of that bill?
Yes. I think in a lot of the members of the LGBT in favor talaga sa SOGI. Ang nagiging problema lang is people don't read the details of it. Maraming puro, maraming mga myths and fake news about it.
Alam mo, no, I don't know, Erika, if this thing, what a lot of people can relate to, especially sa schools or even sa workplace. There is this gender-safe restroom or something. Paano ba yun?
Gender neutral.
Gender neutral.
Yes.
How does that work? Where are we at that?
So when we say gender neutral, ibig sabihin this is a bathroom. It's a basic facility that any person can use no matter what their gender is. Pwedeng babae, pwedeng lalaki, pwedeng LGBT. And we need these kinds of inclusive facilities because people don't know that there are health issues that yung umuusbong because we don't have these kinds of facilities. For example, diba, it's basic human right na if you want to pee, you just go, you don't have to think twice about it. But for a lot of LGBT individuals, it's very difficult. Kasi if you can imagine a trans student na para sa kanya, kunyari, born male, pero ang appearance ay very feminine, hindi madaling pumunta sa CR. Kasi kung pumunta ka ng CR ng babae, sasabihin na nanilip ka. Pag pumunta ka sa CR ng lalaki, sasabihin na ninilip ka rin. So a lot of the LGBT students would rather hold it in than relieve themselves. So when you do that, diba, nagkakaroon yun ng mga bladder problems and it causes a lot of health issues.
In the absence of that law, wala bang gumagawa entities right now with that gender, what do you call it, safe or gender neutral? Sorry, gender neutral CR? Wala.
Actually, we have policies.
Wala kang alam? Right now, wala bang nag-implement? Yes.
Actually, maraming mga universities, maraming mga, even government institutions, because we have gender and development offices in every government institution.
Okay.
So part of yung gender mainstreaming is providing facilities that are gender inclusive.
Parts.
I remember about 4 years ago when I was still with the National Academy of Sports here at New Clark. During the planning stages of the two buildings, meron talagang gender-neutral bathrooms in the works.
Okay.
So of course right now, hindi pa ako nakakapasyal doon. I'm not sure if they actually implemented it, but during in 2021, they were those kind of bathrooms were included in the plans.
Erika, let's go on something a bit, I wouldn't call it, maybe it is controversial, same-sex marriage. Paano ba yan? What can you do to, kasi I understand, Taiwan, I think, no? is the first country in Asia to allow it. Tayo ba? Will just that be a dream or something? A pipe dream or what?
Well, it's a little hard to say now kasi nga SOGI bill pa lang, no. We are already encountering a problem. And isa sa mga malalaking myths in the SOGI bill is that it's trying to pass this idea of same-sex marriage, which is, of course, Philippines being a predominantly Catholic Christian country, ayaw, no. Pero actually in the SOGI bill, it's just trying to make sure na nobody gets discriminated based on gender. Pwede kang straight male individual, nobody has the right to discriminate you against, kunyari, a job you're applying for because of your gender. Pero dun pa lang, hindi natin mapasa-pasa. Paano pa kaya ang same sex? Pero at the same time, people don't have a clear understanding na of same-sex marriage is different from yung isa ring pinopromote ng LGBT community, which is same-sex union. Which, so same-sex marriage,
Parehas yun What's the difference?
kasi marriage is, diba?
Okay, ano ba ito?
Yeah,
Semantics
marriage
ba ito?
kasi is-
Play of words or what?
Exactly. But kasi diba, like when you say marriage, people connected so much with the church, with the sanctity of the ceremony. Pero union, marriage is also diba, legal legal contract na you are bound to this person and that you have the rights to certain legalities when it comes to the life of this person. So for instance, if your significant other, your husband or your wife is in the hospital, you have the right to make decisions regarding yung medical operations ng iyong asawa.
And I understand other stuff, property, whatnot.
Okay.
But I want to ask you, meron ba kayong party list? Makapag ang LGBTQ nakapag-ujapit na parts kung nakapagpalusot ng party list, representation, or wala?
Regarding, well, I mean, there are a lot of party lists
Sa advocacy nyo, sa LGBTQ, meron?
for party lists.
Yeah, like for example, years ago, yung mga security guards, they were
Yes,
represented by
yes,
Mikey.
Yeah,
Pagalaro
oo,
yun.
marami. All of them have groups, no?
Oh, yes,
Party list
even contractors, yung
Yeah.
Meron sa
electric cooperative.
LGBTQ? Meron
Actually,
ba? Or
marami rin sa LGBT, but they're not as prominent. Pero kasi merong mga other party lists na very big on the LGBT advocacy. So for instance, Akbayan, na di ba si Mother Percy is what we call Percy Sendanya. Kasi he's been a primary mentor for a lot of the LGBT CSOs, NGOs, and yung mga advocates talaga. So it's already integrated yung LGBT advocacy and gender minority advocacy sa malalaking party list. Pero there are smaller party lists for LGBT naman.
tapos parts, alam mo, I did an interview way back. Ito 10 years ago, LGBT representative sa Baguio, Eman Soriano. Tapos sabi niya, yun nga, noong pa man, DOH has been calling the attention of LGBTQ because it's dyan ang, ano pa to? Yun sa AIDS, HIV,
HIV.
it's predominant sa sector na yan. So, what do you plan to do about that?
Well, in terms of, di ba, you have compounding health issues na highly affected ang LGBT, whether it's mental health and also HIV, because there's lack of education in terms of, for instance, the discussion about sex. RH bill, medyo hirap tayo in terms of discussing it to young people, pero especially in terms of yung sexual behavior among members of the LGBT, it's not systematically talked about in places like the universities or high school. And therefore, parang safe sex is a little bit, it's a lot affected, yeah, and it's also taboo. Pero in terms of the DOH, I think there's high recognition in terms of yung affect sa mga LGBT. And there are interventions, although my knowledge is limited din man, because most of my know-how is in the university or higher education.
Do you have any idea ilan ang population ng LGBT sa Tarlac?
So-
City, province, region, whatever.
It's hard.
It's hard.
Yeah, kasi we don't have
Register.
Census,
Parang
wala tayong sense. Kasi you have, di ba, in terms of gender, the Philippine Women's Commission would have encouraged through yung Gender and Development Office in government institutions yung sex segregated data. Pero when it comes to research, when it comes to survey, maraming difficulties in gathering information from the LGBT. Kasi una pa lang, tatanungin mo, are you part of the LGBT? There's already hesitation there because we're coming from the province and there's an air of conservatism.
Closets. Maraming closet.
Closet or, I mean, it's
Isn't-
also trying to
Isn't
figure
that,
out.
isn't that the right term? Closet?
Some, pero kasi like closet is kind of like getting old na rin. Kasi like, kasi it's the idea na you're either in or out, di ba?
Okay.
Pero gender kasi is a spectrum. No, some people are trying to figure it out. Even at the age of 40, at the age of 50, people are trying to figure themselves out because gender is a journey.
Naalala ko pa yung politician eh. Pero some other time na yun. Closet ata eh. Next time we, on our
Yeah, I think we should.
dalawa.
I think we
discuss
should ask that
So I
person.
sent a letter actually. Not really to deviate, but yun nga, politician, well known, they say he's gay. That's one. So closet. Kasi pinag-uusapan for so many years about this guy. And well, I find it pitiful kasi sa bagay, Western society, yan di ba? Even in the military, I understand. Okay naman sila, law enforcement, di ba? But this is a Western society. Sa atin, pero because of these rights, these laws, anti-discrimination, mga ganun,
Yeah.
I understand they're sort of coming out na rin, no? And they're earning the respect of their peers naman. It's how they carry themselves, di ba?
And there's this law, I think yung bawal bastos, is it? Is the bawal
Yeah,
bastos?
safe space.
Yeah, see.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So yung medyo layered na cover na ground. In terms of, let's go first with coming out. Coming out kasi it's a very personal decision. And it's something, it's a gift that you can give yourself if you're a part of the LGBT. It's not something that you owe to other people. Although it feels like that. And as a public servant, maybe the politician you're talking about, it
Yeah.
feels like the politician owes us
Exactly.
yung in terms of revealing himself or herself or themselves. Pero at the same time, we also have to respect the person's personal decision. Kasi with outside forces and so many different circumstances, personal and social, sometimes it's hard to come into terms with that decision. I am this. It's a personal journey now. We have to allow that person to decide. Not now we pressure, and that's one of the moments in which you can make somebody feel unsafe. No, pag pinapressure mo to come out, when it's a personal decision that you have to give them because it's something that they give to themselves, and it's a little bit difficult lang na pag merong public role, kasi it can be seen as a moment of dishonesty. And di ba parang honesty and trust
Yeah.
is a very integral part of leadership. It's a very integral part of your role as a public servant. Pero at the same time, it's something that, di ba, parang ikaw ay tao pa rin. Ikaw ay merong personhood. There's a self that you have a conversation with whether you are ready or not. And some people are not.
That personal, in effect, that's what you
Yeah.
say. And bahala ka doon mag-decide kung
it's
gusto mo,
a matter of
kung gusto mo lumantad or not.
Kasi sometimes like
Partner,
people
may
want to
idea
leave
ka
their
naman. Ako sino yan? Siguro alam mo yan, no?
No, I don't have any idea.
You have no idea?
I've been living under the rock for the past
come
10
on.
years.
Ano naman, nagmamalinis ka naman? Kilala mo yun? Prominent yun?
Really?
He's a prominent politician. He's a high politician in Tarlac.
I think he's married. I think he's married and he's got a child.
Oh, yes, supposed to be. But you never see the, Teka, we're moving away from our guest parts. What can you no? No, it's,
Yeah.
ang ganda. It's,
Pero sa ganyan ba yung the stigma that comes with being openly gay, openly lesbian, compared to say about 10 years ago, 2015, now it's 2025. So ganun pa rin ba yung they look at you differently, they treat you differently? Is it still like
how
that?
is it on the ground? Ika nga, no?
Yeah. It feels a little better No, a little better in a way that there's more representation in media. There are more vocal individuals who are willing to say that they are part of the LGBT. Diba si Angel Aquino just recently made the headline saying na I like girls or I love girls or something like that. So it feels easier for a lot of people to come into terms with who they are. Pero at the same time, on the ground, meron pa rin mga moments in which members of the LGBT encounter disrespect, bullying, harassment, or microaggression. Kasi sometimes may mga malilit na comment na medyo inosente ang para sa ibang tao, katulad ng pag sinabing, oh, bisexual ka, sayang. No? Ang ganda mong pa naman, or ang gwapo mo pa naman. Parang may underlying comment kasi yun na parang sayang, parang inangat mo siya no? By calling that person na gwapo or maganda, pero sayang. No? Parang sayang, just because of who you are, you're less of this compliment that I just gave you.
Tapos parts, alam mo itong discussion na ito, pag dinala mong pinasok mo religion dyan, you know, whether it's Christianity, Islam, or whatever, parang walang pupuntahan eh. Tama ba? Or
Well,
have you had an instance na there was some middle ground, or you know, you're talking to a pastor or whoever, and priest or whatever, and you know, you sort of got to meet eye to eye and sort of understood how, you know, how is
necessary
it?
dialogue.
Yeah. Kasi talagang,
Well, not with the priest, although there's a church in QC, no, very open to the LGBTQ community, kasi parang they talk about Christianity in a way that is kumbaga it's not persecuting the kasi sometimes like that's a biblical tone
Yes,
sometimes for the
exactly.
LGBT.
Talaga naman. No?
And at the same time, I've had young people come to me and say that it's hard to go to church even though they love the church because the church is also made of people who can judge you. So I had like a trans student, sabi niya, I love to sing in the choir, I love the church, pero every time na I go to church, sasabihin, pastor pa man din yung lolo mo, bakit ka ganyan? So it's very hard for her to love and still feel accepted in that space. I might not have had that conversation, pero my mom is Catholic and she's like a devout Catholic every Sunday, every Wednesday nasa simbahan. And we've had conversations around faith, no? Sabi niya like, look at New Testament Jesus. Di ba? Parang Jesus was really for the minority. And a lot of members of the LGBT community who hold strong with their faith would like to believe that side of Christianity, of Catholicism, of the church, na it's mostly about love and forgiveness and acceptance. And if we just allow that to thrive, we would have a better society. Instead of thinking about, di ba, parang people as sinners. Nobody wants to be assumed the worst part of themselves. People want to be assumed na they are
Actually, alam mo, partner, ang view ko talaga dyan, it's just sexual preference. In fact, if you remember, I remember the late Pope Francisco, no? Pico Francisco. Ano sabi niya, di ba? Who am I to, nung tinanong siya on this subject, this issue, who am I to judge?
Yes.
yeah.
Di ba? I mean, that speaks volumes already. Not that he condones it, I understand, but what are we to judge nga naman talaga?
Yeah.
First.
This when it comes to LGBTQ, what's your stand when say nowadays may cartoon show sa Netflix and one or two of those characters parang may implied or sometimes they're openly gay or boy and boy, they're in a relationship sa cartoons.
Ganun?
Oh yes.
Cartoons? Parang
Yes.
Increased representation in media.
Yung sa akin naman kasi personally, I don't approve of those. Parang ayoko, masyadong bali, ini-introduce mo na. You're making
What
it
age,
like
what age?
normal.
Ganun? Cartoon Network?
Yes. Not Cartoon Network. Wala na yata Cartoon Network part.
Sorry. Anyway, Netflix.
Sa Netflix.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Sometimes even yung mga rom-coms lagi may mga LGBTQ, or sometimes they call them, they woke
Such an early
woke
introduction,
agenda,
no?
yung mga ini-insert na lagi ron. What's your take on those?
Well, for that naman, kasi you can also see it as an opportunity to explain differences. Kasi the more you expose young people na there are different kinds of individuals, there are different ways of being attracted to somebody, the more na they recognize diversity. Kasi sometimes when you present the world in a very black and white form, I think children feel like difference is defect. And when they internalize that na defect is different and they feel different, then parang it's a quick path to self-hate, no? Or parang it's difficulty in acceptance of love. Pero when you introduce at a very young age differences, diversity, inclusion, is a lot more within reach, I think, and kindness despite differences. So I think I'm more on the side na I'm okay with that because it's an opportunity to teach children na you can be different, that's fine, and you're still accepted.
Sa akin naman, personally, sometimes kasi they're too young. Like for example, okay pala yung ganun.
Bata
And
pa.
yet kapag halimbawa may nakita, may form lang, o may PTA form, o yung sex, male and female, tapos ano yung lalagay mo ron? And then at the same time, say nagpupunta, may Bible study o nagpunta sa church, man and woman. So parang ganun, magkakaroon kasi ng parang dilemma yung bata at that early age. So baka mag-cause lang ng confusion siguro in their teens siguro.
Pero it's kasi when they get used to parang male, female, and they don't recognize that there are people in between. Kasi for instance, kahit we're talking about sexual characteristics lang, may diversity pa rin. No? Kasi you have individuals who are considered intersex. There's 1.3 or 1.7% of the world population who are considered intersex. Ibig sabihin, meron silang mixed qualities of male and female. So, kumbaga, if that's not talked about early enough, parang, and then later pa nila malalaman na people can be different. People can have all these characteristics and they don't have to strictly confine themselves to these boxes. I think mas mahirap yung ganong conversation, no? Kaysa sa
Sige, on a more personal note, in your case, if you will be the example, when did you realize or recognize that you were a lesbian?
Well, kasi like high school, parang I wasn't really into trying to figure out who I am. I just felt like I am who I am. But I think it comes from privilege, no? Kasi I had parents who were supportive, or at the same time, like they were busy with taking care of the business. So parang me and my siblings were left to try to figure out ourselves. I think my pathway towards it was, and in a way, lucky because of love. Na in love tayo. So, when we were when I was in college, I was focused on studying, but I started feeling something towards this friend. And I was trying to grapple with that idea. I was parang going kind of crazy, denying myself the feeling and the emotion. And I think a lot of LGBT, the first experience of love is always kind of tainted with shame. Kasi the first conversation you have with yourself is, I know I like this person, but maybe I'm not supposed to. So dun ko naramdaman yung a lot of the conflicts that maybe yung mga LGBT has experienced. Pero when I finally could not deny na I really feel this way, siguro after like 3 months of constantly talking to this person, doon ko lang na-realize na, okay, like, this is how I feel. Yun. Pero the journey of coming out, long process din, because I know I just love this person. I didn't identify na I am this based on the labels. For the most part, it was, I'm I'm bisexual because I can be attracted to this person, and I've had boyfriend in the past. Pero it's also eventually realizing that this is my preference.
Alam mo, parts ang ano kasi dyan, ang nakita ko, yung stereotyping. Yun din kasi ang, I wish the LGBT group would, have more educational or, some more guidance to its members or those who are part of the group kasi alam mo, ako, I've seen a lot of gays, no? Who are sharp, intelligent,
Oh yes,
decent.
a lot of them are.
Yeah.
Yes.
a lot in the field of business,
Yeah.
kung saan, government. Decente lahat ito eh. Kaya lang, there is this other side naman that we've been seeing and they make jokes of it and you go sa parlor and you go to this other side, yung medyo
Yeah, I think
kabastusan side or it debases them and the idea of respect
yeah, I think that's
gets lost.
that's what this LGBTQ group in Concepcion is trying to do, is yung ayusin yung LGBTQ to
Stereotyping na yun.
to give them decent livelihood as well, para hindi yung sabi mo nga parang kalat-kalat lang tapos
Diba? Kasi
kaya
pagkayan or something, ganun ang salita eh.
But I think a lot of things happened before that, no? Kasi di ba, parang sabi natin stereotype, yung mga bakla sa parlor, maingay.
Yeah.
Tinatanong din ako, bakit maingay mga bakla? So like for one, in terms of yung socio-economic standing, maraming mga LGBT nagda-drop out sa school. So you might have a general percentage of high school dropouts na pag babae nasa 3%, pag lalaki nasa 5 to 6%. Pero ang LGBT nasa 20 to 30% ang dropout rate. Kasi nga every step of going to the school, attending school with their classmates, with their teachers, laging may kinakaharap na stigma or harassment or bullying. So when you have a student who the moment they enter the gate of the campus until yung graduation, hindi pa sila mag-a-attendan unless magsuot sila ng maayos. No? Parang those things hinder them from finishing school. So kaya ano yung nagiging job opportunities para sa mga LGBT kung yun yung nangyayari sa kanila? So, hindi yung merong mga stereotype na nasa parlor sila kasi these are individuals who might not have finished school. Bakit maingay? Because for the LGBT, yung experience of muting yourself is very strong. Censoring yourself for acceptance, conditional love is something na you learn. Pero the moment you find your voice, di ba, bilang bakla, kasi like yung tinawag, bakla. The moment a bakla person says, oo, bakla ako, you have that voice and it will never be muted. So, kaya umiingay, no? Kasi they've had that experience of being bullied and they are now standing up with their voice. In terms of sexual, I think with this idea of censorship and coming out, I think it's just a certain trajectory that happens, no? Parang if people mute you, parang you kind of rebel against being muted by saying things that are more taboo, na parang the conservative society is kind of muting din. So I think parang may mga ganong circumstances na nangyayari.
Partner, ang galing ng bisita natin.
Oo nga.
Psychological
So
explanation.
with this office at the TAU, has there been a marked improvement in the number of graduates who are members of the LGBTQ?
Yes.
Compared to before, wala pa yan, walang nakakausap, sabi mo nga. So now, there's an improvement?
Yes, since we started our organization, we've had more students who join, and at the same time, they're also active in social civic activities. So sometimes they are part of our organization, pero outside in the LGU, meron silang kasama sila dun sa organizing body for different activities. Kunyari, pag may fiesta, they also want to organize gay pageants for representation. But at the same time, they also want to advocate for gender activities sa LGU. Kasi minsan, yung mga sa mga LGUs underutilized ang gender and development funding. So parang just to really put it where it's supposed to be, which is for gender activities. Minsan nandiyan yung mga LGBT. So we have our graduates who are also part of the CSOs na LGBT in our town. So we're very proud of them. And at the same time, they end up working sa NGOs din. So we have two LGBT na they took the development communications in the university. So talagang nasa development ang kanilang puso. Pero dahil identity nila, yung advocacy nila, madaling kumbaga integrate dun sa trabaho. Kasi sabi nga ni Risa Ontiveros, ang laban na personal, hindi mo bibitawan. So malakas yung ganung advocacy.
Okay. Partner. Parting shot from our guest. It's what would you like to share to the public or,
teka.
or yeah, ano yan?
May nalimutan
Sige,
ako.
sige, ito.
This, when you say gender, when you say gender, is it different from having, ang gender ko ganito, or it's different from, my pronoun is this? So, are those two different things?
Kasi gender, iba-ibang aspeto to try to figure out your gender. So, unang tanong is, ano ka? Especially in relation dun sa katawan mo. So, kung yung puso isipan mo, babae, katawan mo ay babae, then you are cisgender. So, that's your gender identity. Pero, meron din tayong mga trans individuals, transgender. So, yung loob nila, babae, ang katawan nila ay lalaki. So, kaya may trans identity. So, ano ka? Pagkausap mo yung sarili mo. Pag mag-isa ka, ikaw babae, tingin mo sa sarili mo babae. Pero pwede rin na yung pangalawang question to try to figure out the gender is yung kanino ka nagkakagusto. Who are you attracted to? So, sometimes the gender, katulad ng case ko, is because I became part of the LGBT because I fell in love with a woman. No? Kanino ka naakit? Merong mga tao naman na hindi sila naakit kahit kanino. No? But they still have yung gender na asexual. And at the same time, how do you show yourself? So that's the last question. No? How do you show yourself to people? How do you perform your gender? So kunyari, meron tayong mga kababaihan na mas gusto nilang androgynous ang suot kasi mas komportable. Pero you also have yung mga babaeng very feminine, yung pananamit, yung asta, yung salita, yung mga hobbies, interests. So those are some of the aspects, no? Maybe in terms of yung pronouns, she, her, or he, him, and they, them. They, them, mostly for non-binary na gender identity. Kasi they don't they don't conform to the yung duality of male and female. They feel somewhere in between. Or yeah.
So, kapag gano'n, bawa,
Dapat maintindihan ito ng mga pare eh. Mga religious ano eh.
Kasi kung minsan, baka kasi ma-offend ko isang person. I address you as ma'am. Will you be offended?
No.
Kanina nga, I was asking her.
Yes, yeah.
I made it clear. What I told you.
Yes.
Sabi niya,
Yung mga gano'n,
I said,
halimbawa.
Miss Erika, and she said, Miss Erika. Diba?
Yeah, someone who's obviously gay, do I refer to him or her as Miss? Would that be offensive? Or
Pag yung expression, no? Pag expression is obviously female, you might you might use she, her. Pero it's always best to ask. If you see somebody who is gender fluid or somebody who is LGBT, you can easily ask. We appreciate that. We don't mind it. Pero yung iba kasi, walang ganung mindset eh. Meron mga members of the LGBT na parang kung ano gusto mo.
Ako parts, I'll wait to be corrected.
okay.
Hindi kasi itsura, babae. I'll just call her Miss.
Yun ba yung dahilan kung bakit sa Jollibee raw, just to avoid those, pag good morning ma'am sir, Ma'am, sir.
Sir, is a
Is-
gender neutral term.
Safe ano.
Ma'am, sir.
Catch all na, ma'am sir.
Ah.
Alright. Sige, parts.
Pero kung may effort to appear feminine or kung may effort to appear masculine, gamitin na lang yung expression na she, her kung may effort to be feminine. Kasi kunyari pumunta kang panaderia, tapos obviously si ate trans, tapos may nagpa-rebond ng hair, nag-makeup, tatawagin mo pa ng sir, masakit sa loob. So tawagin mo ng ate kasi may effort eh. Pero if not sure, you can always ask. It's okay.
Last words, parting shot. What can you advise to, or you know, what would you like to say? Siguro especially to the religious community. Hindi, kasi hard sa lamang sila nakikita kong ano eh. You know, I find this so ironical, ano, if I may just share. No?
Yeah.
Kulang na lang, kausapin ko, saan naman? I see a lot of gay priests. Don't you? Mga pare, bakla. Ito nga,
Maybe,
dami bakla.
o baka we think that they're gay? Parang ganun
gay.
lang, pero effeminate lang.
They're gay. I mean, there's, you know, I've been in media, they talk about things, but you know, so what's wrong with that? I mean, that's how they are. I mean, you know, kaya lang, then they carry that side of, parang it's an internal revolt on hypocrisy and whatnot. Ang hirap dun, di ba? Sa akin,
Pero I mean, kasi they diba, we have different aspects of ourselves and yung trabaho nila and yung position
ayun
nila
ang
is a big
limitations.
way to them. Kasi I mean the whole issue of coming out, because sometimes like people ask na I have conservative parents, they're religious, they won't understand, what do I do? Pero kasi nasa poder ako ng magulang ko. First you have to be safe. Just knowing the fact who you are is a victory in itself, because you know who you are. You don't owe people the truth, you owe yourself the truth. So may mga moments lang na yun nga, meron ka pang papel na gagampanan kung nahihirapan ka na to be who you are and to do the job that you need to do. Sometimes just being true to yourself.
Partner, parting shot before we end this very interesting
Oh,
podcast.
very interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Although narinig na natin yung mga explanation dati. Oh, but of course it's different when you have a guest such as Erika.
Candid.
Very candid.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Diretsuhan,
yeah.
bangka.
She sort of she has the office to speak about these things
exactly.
with authority.
With expertise siguro. Oh, yun,
Experience, yes.
Right. So, sige,
Yeah,
partner.
yeah,
Our
I think,
I want to thank
yes.
our guest, no? Miss Erika, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
And any issues, bring it here and we'll tackle it. And sige, partner, till our next podcast.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Kaprangkahan, kita tayo uli. And meron kayong issue na gustong itackle namin, parating nyo lang sa amin, mga kaprangkahan at gagawin natin. And maraming salamat at magkita tayo uli.
Thank you so much.
Okay?